Hey guys, what's up? It's Umbruhh here bringing you guys a new video. So today I'm back again and I'm talking about Final Fantasy XIV because if you guys may or may not know, I freaking love that game. I think it's amazing. It's available for PS3, PS4, and PC. So anyways, I wanted to be talking about what I think are going to be the new jobs in the new expansion. They haven't announced the new expansion yet, but I've got some pretty good ideas on what the classes are going to be in that expansion. Now, as we know, Heaven's Ward was the first expansion that came out for Final Fantasy XIV. It included the three classes, Dark Knight, Mechanist, and Astrologian. Dark Knight's a tank, Mechanist is a ranged DPS, and Astrologian is a healer. So, this has me wondering, what are gonna be the new jobs in the new expansion? So I've put together a couple of ideas, and in this video I'm gonna be talking about it. So without further ado, here are what I think are going to be the jobs in the new expansion for Final Fantasy XIV. So here we go. So as we know, the jobs are going to be based off jobs that were in the Final Fantasy series. So here are the three jobs that I think will appear: Samurai, Beastmaster, and Chemist. But I'm going to start off with the Samurai, and I think that Samurai is going to be a DPS job in the new expansion. And my reasoning for that is because we already have two sword-wielding tank jobs in Final Fantasy XIV as it is, the Dark Knight and the Paladin. And my reasoning for why it's going to be a DPS job also is because samurais don't typically wear heavy armor like metal armor, plate armor. They typically wear medium armor. So it gives them more ability to use the sword more effectively. Because they're not really supposed to be like warriors or knights who soak up a lot of damage. They're supposed to be masters of the sword who see to do as much damage to their enemies as possible. And another reason is because the sword, a Dark Knight uses a great sword, which is meant to do damage to armor and crush bones, while it make more sense because the samurai is going to be wielding a katana. Katanas really aren't meant to destroy armor, it's meant to cut flesh, which essentially just does more damage. So it'd make more sense for the samurai to be a DPS job. Plus, we need a sword job for the freaking DPS. The DPS's got no swords. I mean, of course, we got the ninja that wields knives, but we need that sword love too. Come on. So, yeah. That's why I believe that samurai is going to be a DPS job because, one, katanas do more damage than great swords, and two, samurai just don't really wear heavy armor because it slows them down and they need to do damage as much as possible, and they can't really have all that heavy clunky plate armor slowing them down. I mean, I know in previous Final Fantasy games, I know that samurai do sometimes wear heavy armor, but I think that it just make more sense for them to not wear heavy armor and just be a DPS job because, to be honest, jobs change every Final Fantasy. And so, my ideas of how jobs are going to be different than, what they were portrayed as in other Final Fantasy games. So, because they want to try to make things different. So, next up, I'm going to be talking about the Beastmaster as a tank job. So, my reasoning for why I think that Beastmasters are going to be a tank job is because I think it would be an interesting way to be able to hold aggro as a tank in a different sort of way. Not having, the strongest armor as possible, but maybe having a large and powerful beast companion at your side. So, Beastmaster would, I guess you could call it a pet class, like a tank pet class. That might be a first, I don't know. And what it is essentially Beastmasters in previous Final Fantasy games, they'd have a variety of weapons, but one of the weapons they could use is a whip. And I think that that's going to be the weapon they use in the new expansion, so that they can control the beasts and attack. So it'd be kind of like a puppet master class. I mean, not quite, but your whip would control the beast, and when you hold aggro, it's not going to your character. The pet, or like the animal you have, like the beast you're controlling, is going to be holding all the aggro. And your beast can last a while. But once your beast is dead, you're not really a tank anymore. You're just trying to survive as long as you can, because Beastmasters, I don't know if they would be wearing like heavy armor. Like, it wouldn't make sense, to be honest. Like, maybe because it would just be kind of OP if like you're a tank and you wear heavy armor and you're able to sustain all that damage while your beast is too. So maybe when your beast is dead, you are left vulnerable and like you can't use as much abilities and you have to wait until your beast is... I mean, like, maybe your beast can be resurrected, although that might be a little bit OP, or maybe you just have to wait for the ability to cool down. So that's why I think the Beastmaster is going to be a tank job in the new expansion. So last but not least, I think that the Chemist is going to be a healer job in the new expansion. And my reasons for that is because I think it would be an interesting way to have a healer that isn't part of the Disciple of Magic jobs. Like, maybe it doesn't like heal with magic, kind of like the, I don't know, White Mage, Scholar, or Astrologian. I mean, like, I know that chemists can use rods in like previous Final Fantasy games, but I think it would be an interesting concept to have a healer that is part of the Disciple of War based category. Like, maybe it uses a variety of like potions and like other chemical substances to heal and buff their allies respectively. And maybe for damage they would throw poisons or other hazardous chemical compounds at their enemies to do, like, I don't know, maybe damage over time on the side. So that's, I don't really have much of an idea for what the Chemist is going to be like. That's pretty much all I can sum it up as, because I haven't given it as much thought as I did with Samurai or Beastmaster, but that's what I think the Chemist is going to be like, and that's what I think the classes for the new expansion are going to be like. I mean, maybe they could have the Red Mage, or maybe add it in another expansion. Like, I know Red Mage would also be a good idea, but I think Samurai would be a better DPS job, to be honest. So, anyways, guys, here are what I think that the new jobs in the next Final Fantasy XIV expansion are going to be. So anyways, guys, if you agree with what I have to say, comment down below. If you have your own ideas on what the jobs are going to be in the new Final Fantasy, comment down below. If you like this video, be sure to like it. If you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe. This is my first time doing something like this. And anyways, guys, I will see you guys later. Have an amazing day. Umbruhh out.